Rockcliff Realtors, and of course, throughout the weeks and the months, we get, so many questions from families looking to move into our East Bay about our schools. And so today I have a very special guest. Hey, this is Eric Niles. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do is, we want to introduce the heads of our schools, principals of the schools in our area. And of course, Eric is the head of a private school in our district called Athenian. What's the full title of Athenian?
The Athenian School.
The Athenian School, wonderful. So of course, given that we get so many questions about what are our private school options, most people come into our district knowing that our public schools are very strong.
They are.
And yet, a lot of families really want to explore, the private school options. So tell us a little bit about Athenian. You are known for being a very high academic school. So talk to us a little bit about that.
So I would say that it would be important for me to tell families who are looking two big things about the school. We can talk about those. One is that core academic program that you talked about. We have a strong core academic program. We pride ourselves on great teachers and teachers that we train throughout their career, and small class sizes. So, we make a promise to our families that their child will really be known.
Right.
So our average class size in our upper school is 14. Wow. Our average class size in our middle school is 15. And we work awfully hard to never have more than 20 in class.
And your school teaches what grade levels?
So we teach grades 6 through 12. So we're all on one big 75-acre campus, but we have a separate middle school on purpose, separate on this campus. That's 6 through 8, and then an upper school 9 through 12.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now you had mentioned when we were chatting briefly that the school originally started as a boarding school entirely.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that, because you still have a boarding school opportunity here as well as...
We do. So that's a good transition for me. I said I would want people to know two things. So the first is...
Sorry, that was my...
No, that's fine. It was good for me. The first would be that core academic program. And then what I would say is that we have unique programs that really result in different kinds of graduates from the school. And we do that on purpose. The first that I would mention is the one you did, which is very much of a global perspective here on campus. And we do that in two ways. One is we go out to the world. So we were founders in the mid-1960s of an organization called Brown Square. There were 4 schools in the 1960s around the globe. There are now 100 schools in that organization. And so our students go out on exchange all the time. We had 11 sophomores this year, so out of a pretty small class. So, who went out and spent weeks or months on exchange in other parts of the world. And the deal is, if you go out, your parents have to, or the school has to agree to host those students. So for our 11 students that went out, there were 11 students from around the world that came to us. So that's the first thing. And then, so we go to the world, and then the world comes to us. And so we have a boarding program with 40 boarders. We've been a boarding school for our whole existence as well. And that's small now, but there are 15 countries represented from those 15 boarders. So there's very much a global feel on the campus, and we feel like we want our students to be global citizens when they graduate.
What an amazing experience for your entire student body to be exposed to so much diversity and so much, so much interesting what they can learn about their future and maybe where they want to go study in college and and beyond. So.
And we talk about it, along with diversity, global diversity, but we make a big commitment to diversity in general.
Yeah.
So we're one of the few schools that has buses that goes from around the Bay Area to come to us as well.
Wonderful. So I know the admittance process to your school, probably a little rigorous. The students have to be very academically strong. What does that look like?
Yeah, it is rigorous, and I don't want to scare parents away, because I think we're looking for bright, engaged students, and it's not all about entry test scores or other things. We're really looking for unique kids, unique kinds of learners who are going to be motivated to learn and be community members for us. The other things I would point out, talking about those unique programs, the other things I would shine a light on, we're becoming leaders in what's known as the Makers Movement, or a different kind of science education in the Bay Area. And so we now have a design and engineering program that bridges across disciplines, and it has classes in our middle school and in our upper school. We have now, for almost 10 years, built real airplanes. Our students are building our 3rd airplane. We have an extensive robotics program, that includes computer programming. So we're really doing some interesting things there.
What an amazing experience for students to be exposed to such, in such a different environment than what you normally would get in high school. So very exciting.
Another is a commitment to outdoor education. So all of our juniors go on an outdoor trip, either in the it's a graduation requirement,
right.
either in the High Sierra or in Death Valley. And sometimes parents ask me, feels like a survival, or it sounds like a survival trip, and it's not at all. It's about learning, and it's about teamwork, and it's about learning grit, as we call it somehow. And so students are out with professional instructors for several weeks, and they're out with their classmates, and it's a life-changing experience for their kids. My daughter's going to go this spring. So.
Oh, wonderful! Yeah, you mentioned that you have your two children are students at the school.
They are. So when we moved here, my son started in 6th grade, my daughter started in 8th grade, and they're now. We've been here a few years. So my son is a 9th grader, my daughter's a junior.
Yeah, wonderful. So as far as what a lot of parents ask about our entire district, as well as the private school opportunities, as well as preparing their students for the highest universities in our country. Tell us a little bit about that, as far as where Athenian would help to expose their children, maybe some of where your students are attending.
So our students attend schools across the country, and truthfully, more and more across the globe. And so what we say is what I said at the beginning, is we prepare you for college acceptance and then success in college. And what I would say is they're part of what we talk about with kids is there are thousands of good colleges across the country.
There really are.
And what we're looking for is the right fit for students. For some of them, that's an Ivy League school. And for some students, it's not what they're looking for. They're looking for something different. And so we really, those small numbers we have really allow us to see kids individually and uniquely and make a match that way.
That's wonderful. Now, as far as scholarship opportunities to the school, I've heard that you have them.
We do.
Tell a little bit about that. What would a family do to maybe to try to qualify for the scholarships, or how would they apply for that?
So they would through the same application process, they would apply for financial aid to Athenian. We had $2 million in financial aid last year. So what I would urge people to do is, even if sometimes people say, well, I wouldn't qualify, or I don't want to ask, is I would say ask.
Yeah.
Our tuition's expensive, and many people who don't think they would qualify do qualify for financial aid.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, thank you so much for helping us. Now, if a family wants to investigate Athenian a little bit further, where would they find your website?
So it would be www.athenian.org.
Perfect.
And then come for an open house or for something else.
Yeah.
I was going to mention one more thing, if I can. I know I've been taking a lot of time. Is our athletic program, and people often ask those questions. 75% of our students participate in team sports during the course of our high school students in team sports, which is very different from other schools. Oftentimes at bigger schools, only a very small percentage of kids can play sports. And it's interesting, sometimes people think, well, then you may be less competitive in sports. Well, we won our league in soccer, and we won our first NCS game yesterday. So I think we're proving to people that you can be inclusive around sports and successful at the same time.
That is such a great. I'm so glad you brought that up, because so many of the families in our district are very focused, of course, on our education. Most of us come to this district because we are looking for a place where our kids can grow up in a very family-oriented, very high academic environment. But a lot of the kids are very involved in sports, and so they wouldn't naturally know that Athenian offers a competitive environment for that too. So
they do.
I'm so glad. Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Thank you so much.
Oh, good.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, if you have questions, call Eric. Would you mind giving your number where they can call you direct?
I don't mind at all. Okay. So 925-362-7211 will find me, or Niles, ENILES, at Athenian.org.
Perfect. And call me anytime as well if you have questions, or if I can guide you to some more information. My name again is Lisa Doyle. My number is 925-890-7443. And thanks for tuning in.